Hi guys, welcome. We are live. I'm trying to go live on Instagram as well. So give me a second. Let's see how this goes. My Instagram live is not working. Oh, unfortunately, I'm trying to fix my Instagram live while we wait for Daniel to join us. I'm in communication with him and he's been trying to join. So while I do that, let me fix my Instagram live so we can go live simultaneously. Okay, now we can go live on Instagram. Yes, I think I'm live. All right, welcome Pet Consult followers. Welcome Excel with Emmy. Today we have a visitor who is going to talk about his application journey. We have some questions. I think he's having some issues joining, so I'll give me like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. He should be able to join. Trying to see if I can see myself on Instagram. Yes. Instagram is working. I do see myself live on Instagram. If you know anybody, tune in. I'm still waiting for Daniel to join and we can go ahead. If he doesn't join, we'll continue from where we took off last week. So thank you, Wisdom, for joining today. Let me share the link as well. By within the next 5 minutes, we should be able to join. If you have any questions, drop it on Instagram, drop it on YouTube, and I'll answer your questions as well so that we don't have to waste the time. So these are the questions we are going to go through. So just let me say it real quick. Then if you know these are not something of interest, you don't want to waste your time. Hi David, thank you for joining. We are talking about what has been your highlights of the US so far, any shocks, pros and cons, so people can learn from. And then we'll quickly let him run us through his application process. My next question will be, what was it that you did that made you get funding? And then what would you do differently if you are doing this process again? What would you not repeat if you are starting the journey again? What was the cost involved? Like, can you take us through your transcript evaluation, your GRE, the visa application process, and what were the major challenges he faced, and how did he overcome these challenges, right? So I'm going to share the link to my WhatsApp pages real quick. These are questions I believe that would be useful to you while you are starting a successful fall 2025 process. And so without wasting much time, I'll try to share the link again with him. If he's not able to join, we can just take it from where we left off last week. Yeah, I do see that he's been trying to join, but his microphone, there are technical issues that happen, and these are fine. If these are things we can't eliminate, right? So yeah. Yep. Now I think yes. Now I do have Daniel on here. Hi, Daniel. How are you doing?
Hello, Amy. I'm
Yeah, you gave
fine.
me a heart attack while you were trying to connect. I was like, "Are you not coming? Are you coming?" Yeah, I'm glad you're here. So without wasting much time, we would start. We do have 5 people on the line. I've not shared the link on WhatsApp yet. I would want you to start your introduction, and then while I share the link to other people. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm coming. Okay. Yeah, I think the light is okay now. There
Yeah.
was
Are
a,
you
yeah.
are you enjoying the cold? The cold is coming.
It has already started.
Yeah, it's cold. It's getting cold. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So,
A
my
brief
name.
introduction of yourself. Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Daniel. As displayed over there, Daniel Kankam. I'm from Ghana, and I'm currently doing my master's at the University of South Dakota, where I'm pursuing master's in public administration. I hold an undergrad degree from the University of Cape Coast, where I did Bachelor of Commerce in Management, completed 2023, and I'm here now. Yeah, so that's a brief intro about me.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. I think I briefly went through the questions that we are looking at with them.
Mhm.
I think my first question is, what has been your experience in the US so far? Has it met your expectation? Were there some things you were expecting? Are there any cultural shocks, any pros and cons?
So actually, I wouldn't say I'm shocked because um any time you're going to a country or maybe you are taking an adventure, you must do your research about wherever you want to go. So I mean, your channel helped a lot to explain some of the you know some of the cultural shocks and stuff. So seeing them, I wouldn't say I'm surprised. I would say I anticipated it and it's here
Mm.
now. So those
Okay,
are
so what are the things you are surprised about?
so I can say how they make friends, how um the individualistic lifestyle here. So
Right.
over here we don't have in Ghana, like if you are in a university like this, you meet someone that you don't know, but I mean the way you even vibe with a
The
person,
vibe is there, right?
as
Yeah.
if you know the person already. But over here it isn't so. I mean you can meet someone on Monday, you'll be talking like you guys are friends, then the next day the person will see you and pass by and like as if you've not even spoken before. These are shocks. I mean, yeah, and even back home in Ghana, we have this type of vibe we call ourselves like this is my sister. Meanwhile, you don't even have any family
You
lineage
don't
or
even
anything.
know
But
the person.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, the moment you kind of start meeting each other, anytime you meet someone, wh- or anytime you're walking together and you meet a stranger, you'll be like, hey, meet my brother or meet my sister. But over here, even your work colleague whom you meet every day is not your friend. He's just your work
Yeah.
colleague. You
I
get
think
when you
sometimes
get that.
people feel like we are exaggerating, like when you say
No,
this place is lonely, we are not exaggerating. I think when Daniel came, one of the things he texted me is, you guys never said it was lonely, but I think we say it a couple of times, but when we say it is taken in a negative light, as in not trying to tell people not to come, right?
no, no, no.
We want everybody to come, but we want you to know that it's not like it seems in pictures that you see with people. So
Yeah,
that's where you want to be like mindful. Yeah, so
yeah.
I think that's one thing also that was very, in my experience too, it was basically the same thing. And so let's go to the main thing. Run us through your application process, right? What did you do?
Oh, okay. So my application process started very early. I know you were in alongside, so you know much about my story. So
Mm.
it's actually started when I was in school. That was when I started the research because I had this mindset of coming to the United States right after my undergrad. Um, Although yeah, national service is there, but I wasn't really thinking of that. My goal was to just come here, finish my masters, then I will later think of a job or something. So I started a research very early whilst I was in UCC, and um, yeah, I I I put in application somewhere. I started my application somewhere in November, October,
Mm-hmm.
November, December, within that month. I've just forgot. But like last year by this time, I had submitted, like, I've done my first application. So I was able, and I also attended a lot of webinar, like school webinars and stuff. So when I hear that this school that I desire to go is having a webinar, I would just go to that webinar. Those were basically what I was doing. So in January, by January, February, I was done with my list, the number of places that I wanted to go. I've submitted my application there and was just waiting for the result. I, by I think February was the time I got a lot of admission messages. So around February, I got admission. I applied to 8 schools actually, and I got admission to 7. So I had, yeah. So I had like a lot of,
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of admission letters. I mean, getting. I always tell people that getting the admission
Getting
is not
admission, I
because
always say this. I said it on the live last week as well. Getting admission is pretty easier, but the funding aspect, which we are going to go into that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I think you made mention of some things that I would want to re-emphasize, right? You did
Mm.
mention about the fact that by January you had submitted all of your applications,
Yeah.
and February you had gotten your admission messages. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing that I feel like people are doing wrong. So that's why I'm doing this series of successful for 2025. What we do is we wait till March, February, March, when there's a lot of application waivers. Then we throw in the applications, right? But mind you, February, somebody has gotten their admission. So they are now fighting for funding. By the time you would apply in March, April, that person has the funding. So you get admission and there is no funding. So if you are not taking anything from this call today, make sure that if you are looking at fall 2025, you are doing early applications to make sure that you are submit applications on time to be considered for early admission decisions and early funding decisions. And so you did say that you put in applications. I mean, I'm going through the series where I've started sharing my screen last week. If you missed our live session, I want you to go back. I was like, as a novice, right? I don't know anything. How do I start the study abroad journey? I decide on the country. So in this process, we are looking at the US. I decided I'm coming to the US. I'm deciding that um I'm coming to the US. So now you have to find the program, not the school. And then once you have found the program, you put in a Google search, Master of, I use packaging technology, and Master of Packaging Technology in the US. So you get a couple of schools that are offering Master of Public Packaging Technology. And then this is where your research starts. Which of these schools has the lowest cost of attendance? Which of these schools provide assistantship? Which of these school is giving a scholarship? So Daniel, like I would say, what were the major factors you considered when you were choosing your schools?
Mm. So I think you've said it all. One of the things I was actually looking for was schools that had like funding for the program that I wanted to do. So I do remember anytime I search my, like, I had a list of program. I didn't say this. I made an Excel sheet with
Okay,
the programs and the school that are offering that program. I was not
okay,
just looking at the USA. I was also looking at Canada, and so I had an Excel sheet, and
okay,
I listed my programs in, like, I think 4. I had Masters of Public Administration. I had Masters of Business Administration. I had Masters of Business Analytics. Then I think I had Masters of Supply Chain. So in each of these programs, I had like about 5 to 6 schools listed in Excel sheet, and when I get to know that this school has low funding, or maybe their cost of, I wasn't also looking at just the cost of living, but even the cost of the cost of attendance, but even the cost of living, because I don't want to come to a state that
It's
it's very
very
expensive.
expensive. I think
Yeah,
you asked me a couple of states and their cost of living as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
So I don't
it's
want
good
to
to
come
do
to.
those research. Yeah.
I don't
And
want to
then
come to.
now,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
so
Go
now
on.
that you have done your search, right? You said
Hmm.
you went ahead to apply. Did you write any GRE? Did you do transcript evaluation?
Okay, so I had to do that, but I mean, I tried to run away from it
Okay, so
because
you eventually did it.
no, I didn't.
Okay, so what
I,
did you do to did you request for waivers? How did you do it?
okay, so one thing I did was, because I was doing detailed research, I made sure that the schools that I was applying to were not requesting for that. I remember there was a school that told me to do transcript evaluation, and that's what I
Okay.
did. When they told me to do transcript evaluation, they had a waiver condition. You must have like 3.0 something, something relating to your GPA. So I
Okay.
sent the program coordinator a message.
Okay.
I know many Ghanaians know this. We have what we call code emails. So I did that, and in any time I was doing my code emails, there were two things I was adding to my code emails: my CV or my resume, and that of my transcript. These two things were always going along with my code email. So the man kind of read it, saw my CV, saw my transcript. I was like, "Come on, you passed the requirements we need in order for us to waive your transcript." So he told me. I mean, it was a strict something that I must do because I was an international student. So I remember he telling me, no, no, that was actually for the GRE, sorry. So I remember he telling me, because of my transcript, I will not be required to write a GRE. And I was like, okay, now it got to the transcript evaluation, which was something I must do because the school says so. So I remember sending him an additional code email talking about it, how expensive it is in Ghana because of the dollar rate. And the man was lenient with me. He told them that okay, he would let them waive it. And truly he did. I mean, he included me and the grad school and I think the international office. He sent an email CCing me, and they spoke about it and they told me, okay, it has been waived. So on my application, they stated waived GRE, waived evaluation of transcripts.
Yeah, I think it was good I asked this question, right? So a lot of times we are trying to stay away from schools that are requesting transcript evaluation, or schools that are waiving requesting GRE. But most as much as you are trying to run away from these schools, other people are trying to run away from these schools, and then it puts a lot of pressure on schools that are not requesting it. So it creates a
Mhm.
lot of competition. It's not just Ghanaians that are trying to get out. It's not just Nigerians that are trying to get out. Asians, Indians, and all of that people are trying to get out as well. I think I like the point he mentioned that he sent a code email. And I think last week we said on our live session that we are going to write a code email together. But like Daniel is here now, so his schedule is pretty tight. So when I reached out to him and he said, "Yeah, I can do this," and I was like, "Sure." I put the code email lesson on hold. Hopefully, we can do it next Sunday, because tomorrow I have someone, because tomorrow is a holiday year, I got someone who also got full funding for PhD in social sciences, which is a very interesting one. So she's going to come on tomorrow as well. So we are going to do the code email session next week. He said he sent code emails, attached his resume, and attached his
Uh,
cover letter,
tran-
right?
Transcript.
Transcript, which
Yeah.
is very good, because if you have sent me code email, it's a very good idea that you are attaching your transcript, because now I know how brilliant you are and I know that I can give you a chance. I think that's something we should also take away. So today I've taken away two things, right? He did a search and then he filtered the schools based off cost of attendance, cost of living, and all of that. And then he also reached out requesting for GRE waiver and transcript evaluation waiver, and attaching his resume and transcript to the emails. He actually got a feedback that waived his GRE and transcript evaluation. And that's a very good point too. So my next question, Daniel, is what would you say that you did that got you the funding? The funding is a very huge part of this whole process. Admission,
Yeah.
you got 7 or 8 admissions, which is very impressive. But what did you do that you got funding this time around?
Mm. Seriously, when it comes to funding, I may not be an expert, trust me. Because what I may say may not be applicable to someone else. Because everyone have ways they get their funding. Like some people get it through the external scholarship, some of them through the school. And one thing I would say I did, because I kind of took proactive steps in all my application. So as like the school that I'm
Okay.
currently in, they had this portal that had transcript, um, a website where you can apply for GA if you want to maybe work for the school. So before I even submitted my application, I think the very moment I submitted my application, I went to that site and submitted my CV
Okay.
for a hopeful GA. And I was also in connection with a professor. I think I said that I always say this. I was in connection with a professor who was going to fund me
Okay.
for her research. So it's like before even coming to this particular school, I had someone I was going to work with. But budget happened, and budget cuts. So she didn't get funding for fall and spring, meaning I lost that GA position. So it was good that I didn't rely on that alone, but I took a proactive step of submitting my CV on the GA portal because it was there that my current department saw my CV and felt like it aligns with the position they need, and they sent me an email.
Okay, so do not put all your eggs in one basket. You
Yeah.
have reached out to a professor, he's giving you a very positive feedback. Don't rely on that professor alone, because if he fails, then you have to wait till the
Mm.
next admission intakes to go through the process again. Make sure you have a couple of options to run from. And so Daniel said that he thinks proactively planning and reaching out to these professors is one thing that he can say that granted him the funding that he has right now, right? So
Yeah.
I think if you are another point to take away is be proactive in your search. Don't wait till next year. Now is the time to start reaching out to professors. Now is the time to start writing those cold emails.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then what would you do differently if you are going through the application process again?
What I would do differently if I'm going through application again
Yeah.
is to I mean mingle a lot. That was
When you
one
say
thing.
mingle, what do you mean?
Yeah, if I if I say mingle, I mean reach out to students who are already living my dreams. That was one thing I failed to do. So because I was thinking my transcripts could save me. I was thinking my whatever I'm doing would save me, but I didn't really rely much on information from the students. So sometimes when you have like if you are going to a school, I always tell people anytime they call me, if you are going to this school, try LinkedIn is there. Any Ghanaian, I mean not all Ghanaian, but majority of the Ghanaians that are here currently studying have their profile on LinkedIn.
Mm.
Try, go search them. The school that you want to go. When you search, I'm sure you definitely find some connections of people who are studying there. You would get to send them a connection. If they don't, I
If
don't.
they don't respond, yeah, that's fine. No,
Yeah,
right now
that-
I'm not looking for a job like seriously. So it's
yeah,
been a long time I went on my LinkedIn, but as a student, usually we do go on the LinkedIn a
yeah,
lot. So if you are looking at a particular school, just type in I think Daniel is in South Dakota University, right?
yeah. University of
Yeah.
South Dakota.
Yeah, University of South Dakota. Just type it in the search box, and then everybody that has on their LinkedIn that they are there, you will show up.
Hmm.
Why is this advisable? It helps you get a real time understanding of the environment you are about to live in. It
Hmm.
helps you get understanding of what to expect. Is this place friendly for me? Because there are some of the states are more friendly than the other. No two ways about that, right? So you want to make sure that you know those information. It also help you settle in easily, because if I know Daniel is already in South Dakota, when I get to South Dakota, I'm like, hey, I'm here. I'll need you to take me to Walmart. I'll need you to take me to the furniture store to get something. It just helps you settling in easier. Your parking. What are some of the things that are expensive in this state? They get to tell you all of the things that Google might not give you the accurate information to, which I think it's a very good one to also consider. And then Daniel, what would you not repeat? Like, what would you not repeat in your application process? Like, I did this, but I'm not doing it again.
Mm. I think what I would do in my application process is not something relating to my application, but something
Mm-hmm.
relating to self management.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I faced, and it got me depressed when I was applying for schools, was not believing that I can make it. That I cannot make it spirit. Because anytime I was working, it's like the challenges kept coming and I wasn't able to celebrate the small wins. Like, I got admission. I'm supposed to be happy. I got admission and I was like, okay, now it's left with funding. I got funding and I was like, okay, now it's left with how I'll pay my CV's fee. Like, I wasn't celebrating every moment,
Yeah.
which is something people should do. I seriously, it got
Yeah,
me depressed.
I think that can be a pro and a con. As much as you were not celebrating the wins, it just keep you on your toes to go for the other
Yeah,
thing, because
yeah.
the process is not over until it's over, right?
It's
I
sure.
remember when I got my admission to Arizona State University, I had gotten the scholarship, and then my scholarship assisted me to apply for Arizona State University, and then COVID hit. And I was always scared that admission is going to be revoked or funding is going to be revoked. Now like Mastercard says, okay, you guys are coming, we are very sure of that. I'm thinking about the visa. It's just how, or it's just the nature of the process, right? So I think the challenges will keep coming as long as you are in this process. As long,
Mhm.
once you have gotten here, the challenges is in a different phase, right? Now you're
Yeah.
thinking about postgraduate. What course am
Mm-hmm.
I going to do? Am I going to school again? Am I going to do a job? Is the job going to sponsor me? Those are different
Absolutely.
conversations we also need to
Yeah.
have. I think it's a good thing to like not settle when you have gained admission, because quickly you have to ask facts, reach out to professors. So I think I wouldn't say like I wouldn't do that again. It made me unrest, right? It will cause you a lot of sleepless nights and all of that, but it just keeps you on your toes as well. So if you're finding yourself in this situation, please yeah, go ahead with it. It's just part of the process. Once you sit, as long as I even sat in the plane, I was thinking about what will happen at the port of entry. And honestly, something happened to me at the port of entry. So it's not over until it's over. Yeah.
Right. And the truth is, yes, as you're saying, like grad school application is one of the tedious work. I mean, if
Mhm.
I see anybody in the United States, I kind of salute the person. Even if the person doesn't have planning, I still salute the person because it goes a whole lot. I mean, the sleepless nights, the letters. Sometimes you have to write. I mean, with especially with SOP, I have to write different SOP
Different,
for
yeah.
different school. I remember there was a time I even sent you my SOP and you
Yeah,
reviewed, go
but
back to me,
this,
you have to do editing, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm just tired. But
yeah. So the thing, yeah, it's like that. And that's why sometimes it's good to like do four solid applications that are very good, just to reduce the stress. Because Daniel was very stressed because he did 8 applications, right? SOP for different programs. And that's where you tend to like, oh, then let me just put in the SOP that is submitted for the previous school. And that's where the problem comes, because you might not do a good application. So the fewer the merrier, or the fewer the better. Quality applications this time around, and I'm hoping that you guys will make it. I think my other question was, I know there are financial challenges, I know they persist, right? Today, I after church, at church, the person that was preaching was like, you remember when he got his visa? That was when he reached out to his grandmother somewhere, that Charlie, I've gotten a visa to the US, I don't have the flight ticket. It's a lot of financial cost involved in this, and if you have not been there before, you might not understand. Daniel, what are some of the financial situations or the hardships that came your way? What were the things that you did to conquer them, so that if anybody's on this live session, they know that this is what I have to do when I get here?
so I think I forgot to add this. one thing I won't repeat, or one thing I would do when I'm doing this process again is to look out for external scholarship. hmm Because I mean, my mentor that I you know her, Ednata, she's a master card scholar. And the way she explained the process to me, I mean, if I had that, I would have slept. Because service was paid, flight was paid. So I mean, if I had a chance to apply again, I think I'll choose the Mastercard route or any scholarship that will fully pay everything. Now back to my story, but I faced a lot of financial challenge. You know, I'm not from an affluent family. Living with a single mom, so everything was on my mom. Like from CVs, yes, I've gotten the funding, and I remember when I sent my school doesn't have this full funding package stuff. Like they pay percentage, then you use your stipend to pay the rest. So I had this offer, my offer, and I sent it to the international office, and by the grace of God, it became a full funding on my I-20. So yes, on my I-20 it stated full funding, but I have to pay my own service. That's one thing people don't
Oh,
people think if you have the full funding through GA, you don't need to pay your service. No, you have to. And the school will not sponsor your traveling to the state too. You have to pay for your flight ticket. So these were one of the challenging times for me, like getting money to pay my service. And after my visa was approved, I had to think of ways to get to the United States. My visa was approved on 3rd June, and I came to the United States in July. So imagine within 1 month, I have to raise about 20,000 Ghana cedis just to get here.
okay. So you relied on family members, I guess.
It was totally my mom. Trust me, my mom. My mom did it
Yeah,
all because
like I'm getting goosebumps because I know how like you've gone through this whole process. It's very hard now. You've gotten full funding in. You have to plane ticket is what is going to make it like lose the opportunity.
and
So it
even
has
the
to be like
service, even
any
service.
length. Usually, like, yeah, like he's saying, and I'll contrast that with my experience, right? With the full ride scholarships, it's different. I personally did not pay any service fee. I personally did not pay any flight ticket because I was also a Mastercard Foundation scholar. I was part of the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program. That's how come I knew Daniel through his mentor. And so I'm always like, look for as much funding as you can get. And then while you're on this live, I'm like, we are not telling you this story to discourage you, but I'm also giving you a solution that even though you have full funding, you can be relying on student loans to make these stuff, right? So Empower pays service fee, Empower gives plane ticket. There are other individual institutions that help international students to come, and they know that once you come, at least you get your 20 hours of work to pay. So if you're in this experience right now, I would say that like rely on those opportunities, right? Because the service fee is expensive. That's like $350.
Yes, $350. Yeah,
350 is a lot of money. So
a lot, a lot.
no Ghanaian is going to help you pay that. So you want to rely on family members. More importantly, I know Empower is very reliable. So if you can reach out to them to see if that covers, that's fine. And I'm glad Daniel is sharing this. And he also mentioned that another way out is to look for other opportunities because I didn't experience all of this. Not to say I didn't face challenges. My own challenges came in different forms, which I've spoken about a couple of times on my channel. But yeah, so Danny, I think we have exhausted all the questions. I'm glad you did come. I hope that people have learned a lot. Oh, I just saw that testimony said I'm in Pennsylvania now. Wow. He was one of the people that were joining my live sessions for visa interview. And I
Oh,
didn't know I forgot he got his visa. So I always thought he was back in Nigeria. Testimony, thank you for joining. Please send me a message on WhatsApp. I need to bring you on next week. I'm not
oh.
requesting, I'm asking. Yeah, so thank you, Daniel. Do you have anything you want to tell somebody that is now looking at the process again? Like, okay, this is my final words to you. It's hard, but this is what I did. You get
So,
here slowly, but you Daniel is feeling cold already.
oh yeah. So what I would say is,
I
um,
see.
this process deals with a lot of anxiety. It comes as a depressor. Trust me, you'll be depressed. But thank God I don't drink alcohol. I never,
Mm.
I never engaged myself in drinking or anything. But I'm not trying to tell you that I drink or something. What I'm trying to say is, you'll be depressed. You get depressed along the way. Even if you are a masterclass scholar, the essay writing, the anxiety of waiting for the result, all these things, it takes a lot of precious time away. So I know you've said this, that it can be a pro and con, but what I would say is celebrate every achievement. If I say celebrate, that doesn't mean relax when you make the first goal. You have a list of goals. The moment you hit the first goal, celebrate it, but you are not done. Go to the next goal. But I mean, be proud of yourself. That is one thing I would. And also, one thing I did, which I believe did a lot for me. I mean, made this whole process a success, was prayer. I never ever I never took God out of this thing. In fact, I started with him when I was starting this whole process. I told him,
Mm.
Lord, this is what I want to do. Help me. I made a covenant with God that by 2024 general election in Ghana, I don't want to be in Ghana. I told God that. And the man, because it was in his will, he also helped me in every step. I mean, you came my way, Edna came my way. Within a year, I've had all the people that I need in order to make it.
Yeah.
So
I
I
think,
praise
yeah,
the Lord.
that's profound. As much as I don't I as much as I wouldn't say everybody here trusts God or believes in God, whoever whichever creator you believe in, you make sure that you rely solely on him. I'm a Christian, so I'll reference Mary. Mary was a nobody, right? But when the favor of God fell on Mary, or when Mary found favor in the eyes of God, she became somebody that Jesus Christ had to come through. And I'm talking about favor because this is what you need. There are lots more people that are qualified in this process than you are. There are lots more
Mhm.
people that have the money more than you are, but that is not what God is looking at, right? So I'm so excited this has ended this way. And I just mentioned that we are having a session tomorrow as well. And I'm so excited, like literally excited, because if I remember testimonies story very right, he didn't have full funding. It was some Takashi story be like that. Like, I'm so excited he's in the US now. So I would say that you should take the live sessions seriously. I don't need thousands of people to be on the live to think that it's useful. Like, the fact that I've just realized that testimony is actually here in the US makes me feel like I'm doing something right. I close from church, but I don't want the people in Ghana to sleep before like I start the live. So I have to do it before I eat. These are some of the sacrifices we are doing. I'm not getting so much money from YouTube. Like, what how much money people think YouTube gives, I can show you the money I've made on YouTube. Like, it's not money at all. So it's just my way of giving back to my community. So if you want to be a steadfast follower of this community, I would think that would be helpful. Just click the subscribe button. I think Daniel is very will be very helpful too. So if you want Daniel's contact, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp, and I can give you his LinkedIn because so that you can reach out to him. Daniel, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate that. Testimony, please text me so that we can
Thank you,
try
Annie.
and see if we can get a date for you to be on here to share your experience, especially if I'm thinking it wasn't full funding. Yeah, so please let me know when works for you. Thank you so much, Daniel, and I really appreciate you for coming. I hope to talk to you backstage. Thank you, everyone, for joining. There is a session tomorrow as well. Wisdom, Daniel, Otnell, everybody that joined the session today, I really am grateful. Share the link with other people. This and every Sunday, I'll try to do the live session. If I get somebody in the weekdays as well, I'll just jump on the live session. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you, Daniel. I think Daniel is eating. So, Daniel, I'll leave you. Bye bye, everybody. So, see you tomorrow.